What's poppin', people? It's Dante going for a walk here in Fairmount Park, Philadelphia. And today I'm thinking about what it means to align with nature and why this matters to me. So I think first and foremost, recognizing that our connection to the external world around us is critical. And from the ground up, we find this connection to the external world, right? Consider the shoe that we wear in our modern world with these very thick soles that separate us from the ground. I find this to actually be extremely unnatural. However, wearing either barefoot shoes or literally taking your shoes off, yeah, I believe that you can obviously connect with nature. And also, yeah, if you want to buy these photos, go to dantesisypho.com. I'm gonna make a shop only accepting Bitcoin. And man, I love photographing nature too. And so, yeah, I think firstly, from the ground up, connecting with nature with your feet, yeah, something that we kind of subconsciously, we don't really think about it too much because of the way we have been programmed since children, right? You learn to tie your shoe. You know, I'll never forget when I learned to tie my shoes. You know, you kind of like start with those like Velcro shoes, those cool light up shoes when you're a kid. But you know, a child usually runs around without their shoes on. But then we've kind of adopted shoes, laces, and all these things that kind of put our feet inside of a box. You know, I think that in modern life generally, our connection to nature is typically lost, right? Think of the way that we live in boxes, work in boxes, we drive in boxes. You know, think of the way we operate automobiles, working at computers, that's another box. You know, a lot of the time we spend indoors now in this modern world, right? Think of the COVID-19 pandemic and the lockdown that occurred. You know, that was extremely unnatural. And I think it's important to not make that normal. You know, to connect with nature is very simple. And the most optimal solution to connecting with nature is finding the closest trail to you that is accessible. And here in Philadelphia, I'm really lucky to have a variety of parks and trails. Here in Fairmount Park, it's extremely beautiful and something that I admire about my hometown. I usually spend my morning on the Schuylkill River Trail, waking up before the sun rises. I get to listen to the humming sounds of the insects, the chirping songs from the birds. I get the sun peering between the trees, kissing my skin. You know, the connection to the external stimuli and world around you is a sensual experience, right? Where you can feel the dirt and the grass beneath your feet. You know, I can feel the sunlight kissing my skin. You know, I feel the connection to nature through my body. And while the external connection we have to nature is of first importance, perhaps to turn inwards within your physiology and your physical body is another key component to aligning with nature. And I actually find that through fasting and eliminating breakfast and lunch from my everyday life, it gives me this clear connection to nature, to my gut, to my brain, right? That gut to brain connection, I believe, can align us with our natural state of being, where we are no longer digesting food throughout the day. You know, think of all of the churning that goes on in the morning if you're waking up and immediately snacking or eating breakfast. You know, I think that these things inhibit that laser-like focus that you can get where fasting, yeah, provides this feeling, right? This feeling of laser sharp focus that I feel. As a street photographer, I actually believe that through fasting, I have this heightened awareness, this heightened intuition, where I'm responding to the world around me much faster, right? I'm reacting more quickly on the streets when I'm photographing, and I'm noticing things quickly. And I think that maybe in nature, humans as hunter-gatherers did not eat breakfast or lunch and had to be standing upright throughout the day, marching, walking, looking for prey to hunt and kill and then eat. You know, so perhaps to align with nature from within as this physiological thing, it's for me, it's like, can you simulate being a hunter-gatherer in a modern world that sort of confines us to shoes, confines us to the indoors, confines us to eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacking throughout the day? You know, these ways of living, I believe, are unnatural. You know, everyone has their own way of going about life, and I'm just here to share what works for me and how I've aligned myself with nature and my optimal way of being. And so, yeah, through fasting, through surrounding yourself in parks and beautiful green spaces. Check out this bee. Whoa, was that a hornet? Yeah, I think these simple things go a long way, right? Removing any artificial things from your life when it comes to the internal side of things, right? Eliminating sodas, sugars, juices. Honestly, a lot of these things that that we consume these days, I too think are unnatural. You know, just considering the food that we consume, even just checking this freaking jar of peanut butter the other day, I noticed that there's all sorts of weird ingredients in it. You know, we use like vegetable oils in peanut butter. We use like high fructose corn syrup chunks and all sorts of weird shit. And yeah, I mean, just think of like the modern everyday person, right? You wake up, you eat, you know, maybe you slap some cream cheese on a bagel, you get in your car, you're stuck in traffic, sitting down for 30 minutes per day. Then you go to the office, you're sitting down for another 8 hours per day. Maybe during break, you go to some salad bar that I believe smells like a stinky locker room, and you eat this bowl of slop that doesn't really have much nutrients in it. You go back, you work a bit, you're stuck in traffic again, sitting down. Go home, maybe you consume media for a couple of hours, you turn the TV on. You know, the average everyday person in this modern world is living in a very imbalanced way, I believe, that does not align with nature at all. You know, I think simple solutions to this is standing upright from the moment you wake up and never sitting down until the moment you go to sleep, where our bodies are like this battery, and through sleeping and getting deep, good sleep, through connecting with the sun and allowing it to peer through your eyes in the morning, setting your biological clock, your circadian rhythm, getting this real natural flow with your sleep pattern, I think there we can increase our vitality. And to me, the only life worth living is a life full of vitality. And I believe that aligning yourself with nature will increase your vigor and vitality in life. And there is this feeling of power that I get throughout the day under the sun, in the great outdoors, you know, in an open space. You know, I think that this is ultimately where man naturally feels most powerful. And so if you consider your body as the battery, I believe that when we wake up in the morning after sleeping and replenishing our cells and our muscles, we wake up with this rejuvenated feeling where you think of the iPhone at 0%, 1%, all the way up to 100%. You wake up in the morning with 100% charge, right? And I believe the best way to live life is to end the day off before you go to sleep by depleting all of the energy and power from your body back to 1%, plugging your body into the bed like a charger, and yeah, just getting that good deep sleep. And then ultimately you repeat. And so my sort of everyday routine is to break my fast around 6 p.m. I adopted a 100% carnivore diet for the past 2 years, which has completely transformed my life and fuels me with vitality, and it really does work for me. Maybe it'll work for you. I essentially eat 3 to 5 pounds of beef And yeah, maybe that's the ultimate way to be when it comes to simulating these sort of simulating what it would be like to be on the hunt as a hunter-gatherer, right? You're marching all day. You know, I typically walk at least 30,000 steps per day, at least a half a marathon per day. I think actually running is unnatural, right? Think of the hunters. When we were hunters, I highly doubt that we were running after our prey, right? We probably had ingenuity. We found sticks, right? We crafted bows. We had the ingenuity and the precision of an arrow, crafting bullets, you know, spears, hunting deer, you know, being more witty with our approach to hunting, right? But in this modern world, we've adopted running as this new virtue, and we consider running as this way for us to burn calories, it seems, and then we feel better about eating later in the day, and there's just like this cycle. And I mean, honestly, running, I think it's kind of foolish, because in my personal life, I've never met a runner who doesn't have problems with their knees later in life and their legs. And when you consider our power, yeah, it all starts from the ground up, from our feet to our legs. And so I think that we should take good care of these things and not just wear them out through running. And honestly, it seems like a very neurotic behavior pattern when I see people running. A lot of them look kind of strange. It just doesn't look natural, right? I think that running, honestly, it's out of line. It's out of alignment with nature in my life. When I see it, I don't understand. I see people running, they look like gazelles running away from a lion. So I suggest just marching and standing throughout the day, right? This is, yeah, I believe the optimal way to go about it, right? It's like, how far can your body take you throughout the day? How far can you walk, march, don't run? And similar to marching and not running, yeah, I also believe that, you know, don't just eat, right? Eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, right? Feast, right? Feast in the evening, right? Feast on the flesh. And think of your physical body as flesh. When you eat flesh, you fortify the flesh on your body. And so I think actually all of the nutrients you need are found in these animal-based proteins, like red meat, beef, lamb. You know, you can go to Costco and get a lamb leg for $5 per pound, put it in a slow cooker in the morning, set it for 8 hours, add some rosemary, salt, pepper, water, wait till the end of the day, and you have a delicious meal waiting for you to break your fast and feast. I've also experimented with eating kimchi and leafy greens like kale, but mostly I just eat the red meat. And yeah, I think that when you wait until your battery is fully drained and you satiate yourself with good whole foods, it's inevitable that you will wake up the next day fueled with vitality, aligned with nature. So I think, yeah, I think this is really important to me, because aligning with nature feels best. Being quite literally surrounded externally around nature, for me, feels best. Yeah, I think we should just be more mindful of all the toxins, such as alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, these new vapes and things. Yeah, just eliminating all that from your life. Just drinking good water. Black coffee, I like espresso. Yeah, no sugar or cream and all that kind of stuff, just straight up coffee, water, and yeah, just getting good amount of sunlight, good amount of sleep, walking endlessly. Yeah, there's really nothing else you really need there. From there, you fuel yourself with vitality, and I believe align yourself with nature. Works for me. Maybe it'll work for you. Just some quick thoughts on aligning with nature. I certainly feel best in the great outdoors. I feel as though, yeah, for me to be inside is where souls go to die. But when I'm outside moving my physical body, I exist outside the passage of time and I thrive. You know, for I do not need a clock. I simply rise with the sun, sleep with the sun. And yeah, once again, a life full of vitality. It's the only life worth living. It's the only life worth living. Everything else, yeah, it's just not worth it. Like, think of when you get bad sleep and you wake up, it's like, that's the worst feeling, right? We want to be filled with vitality. This is my tree house now. I've taken the tree house over. It's the tree house of Dante now. I think focusing on the strength. Oh, thought that was a bee. I'm gonna step on a bee out here. I always see them coming in between these cracks. But yeah, I think the strength and the power, it's in our legs, so maybe we should always focus on leg strength every day. And grip strength. I like to do these little wrist stretches and just put my body weight down and orient my wrists in different ways and then stretch my legs. Your body is the battery. The sun is the charger. And we should seek to deplete all of our energy before we go to sleep each and every day. Best life worth living. Full of vitality. Just don't sit down. See if you can go without sitting down for the entirety of the day. New read today on Sparta, Plutarch, Rico GR3X. Oh, and big water, 2 liters I think, Yeti. Yeah, these bottles are pretty handy, honestly. Pretty good stuff. Just freaking chug it up, man. Hydrate. Hydrate and then go find a tree to pee under. I love the sun.